The ancient Greeks sowed this plant in their gardens every April. A succulent green that Pliny the Elder believed held such power, he recommended wearing it as an amulet to ward off evil. A food so fundamental to Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, Asian, and Mesoamerican civilizations that it appears in records stretching back thousands of years. And today, agricultural departments across the world have classified it as one of the 10 most noxious weeds on Earth. They publish extension bulletins teaching homeowners how to kill it. They sell herbicides specifically marketed to eradicate it. Chemical companies have made millions convincing people to poison a plant that ancient civilizations revered and modern science proves is more nutritious than spinach, kale, and arugula combined. This is a plant that contains more omega-3 fatty acids than any leafy vegetable ever tested. It thrives in drought and compacted soil where commercial greens die. It requires no irrigation, no fertilizer, no pesticides. This is the story of the ancient superfood they turned into a weed. When archaeobotanists excavate prehistoric settlements across the Mediterranean, one plant keeps appearing in the seed records, from Neolithic campsites to classical Greek cities to medieval Italian markets. Purslane, Portulaca oleracea. Seeds of purslane appear at Mediterranean prehistoric sites spanning thousands of years. Protogeometric layers at Kastanas in Greece. 7th century BCE, deposits at the Harayon of Samos. This was not a weed. This was a plant people deliberately cultivated and stored. By the 4th century BCE, the Greek philosopher Theophrastus listed purslane among the summer pot herbs sown in gardens every April. Not foraged, sown, planted intentionally as a crop. Pliny the Elder attributed powerful healing properties to purslane and even recommended wearing it as an amulet. Whether that works is debatable. What is not debatable is that purslane was valued, respected, and integrated into daily life across the ancient world. By the medieval period, purslane appears in texts like Bonvezin de la Riva's Marvels of Milan, which was written in 1288. It is listed among the everyday foods of the city. But purslane was not just Mediterranean. In ancient China and India, it was used as food and medicine. In Mesoamerica, the Aztecs ate it as part of the quilites tradition, the wild greens that formed the backbone of the pre-Columbian diet. After the Spanish conquest, purslane remained embedded in Mexican foodways as verdolagas, still braised with pork in tomatillo chile sauce. In Greece, it is tossed into salads with feta and olive oil. In Turkey, it is mixed with yogurt. In Portugal's Alentejo region, it stars in sopa de beldregas, a rustic bread soup. In Egypt and Sudan, purslane is not foraged. It is cultivated commercially and sold in markets. Across continents and millennia, purslane occupied the same role. The poor person's green, abundant, resilient, and nutritionally dense. Woven into daily meals, not luxury cuisine. For thousands of years, purslane fed civilizations. They knew exactly what they were eating. Portulaca oleracea is a low-growing succulent annual with thick reddish stems and fleshy paddle-shaped leaves. It thrives in heat and drought and in compacted, nutrient-poor soils. It is naturalized on every continent except Antarctica. The entire plant is edible. Its taste is mild, slightly tangy, with a lemony brightness and a crisp texture similar to cucumber. It can be eaten raw in salads, cooked like spinach, sautéed with garlic, braised in stews, pickled, or added to soups as a thickener. And then, in the 1980s, nutritional scientists analyzed it. Researchers testing the fatty acid profiles of common vegetables made an unprecedented discovery. Purslane contained 300 to 400 milligrams of alpha-linolenic acid per 100 grams of fresh leaves. an omega-3 fatty acid, the highest concentration ever documented in a leafy vegetable. But it did not stop there. Purslane also contained trace amounts of EPA, eicosapentaenoic acid, a more biologically active omega-3, usually found only in fish and marine algae. A land plant producing EPA. Further testing revealed purslane contains approximately 12.2 milligrams of vitamin E per 100 grams, several times higher than most cultivated greens. It has 26.6 milligrams of vitamin C. It is loaded with beta-carotene at levels so high that some nutritionists call it the best source of vitamin A among vegetables. It contains powerful antioxidants, including glutathione and betalain pigments. It is rich in potassium, magnesium, and calcium. Crude protein can reach 20 to 27% of dry matter. More omega-3 fatty acids than any leafy vegetable tested. More vitamin E than spinach. More vitamin A than kale. More antioxidants than arugula. And it grows in sidewalk cracks. So here is the question nobody in the produce industry wants to answer. If this plant is nutritionally superior to nearly every cultivated green, if it requires no inputs, if it thrives where commercial crops fail, why is it not sold in every grocery store? Why do agricultural extension offices publish bulletins on how to kill it instead of how to grow it? Comment below. If learning what agriculture has hidden gets your attention, hit that like button and subscribe. Purslane is officially classified as one of the 10 most noxious weeds in the world. The New Mexico Native Plant Society states it plainly. In the same paragraph, they acknowledge it has the highest content of omega-3 fatty acids and antioxidants of any leafy vegetable tested. Most noxious, most nutritious, same plant. Universities publish weed management guides dedicated to purslane. Penn State Extension calls it a troublesome weed. The University of Maryland Extension publishes guides teaching homeowners how to recognize and destroy it. Chemical companies developed herbicides specifically to kill purslane, including glyphosate, 2,4-D, dicamba, and triclopyr. Pre-emergent herbicides are used to prevent germination, and post-emergent herbicides are used to burn down mature plants. Lawn care companies offer purslane eradication as a service. They charge homeowners to spray poison on one of the most nutritious plants on Earth. Research universities have published dozens of papers on purslane, not about how to grow it, but about how to kill it. Studies document germination ecology to stop seeds from sprouting, tillage strategies, herbicide application rates, and competition effects in corn and soybeans. The USDA funded this. State agricultural experiment stations funded it. The entire infrastructure of modern agriculture mobilized to suppress purslane. Why? Because purslane does something unforgivable. It spreads. A single plant produces up to 240,000 seeds that remain viable for decades. It roots from stem fragments. Tillage can actually spread it by chopping plants into pieces. It thrives in compacted soil using a water-efficient photosynthetic pathway that allows growth in heat and drought. That regenerative capacity, that refusal to die, is exactly what made purslane valuable for thousands of years. But for industrial agriculture, which depends on crops that require purchased inputs every year, purslane is a nightmare because you cannot control it. You cannot patent purslane. It has been cultivated for thousands of years. It is in the public domain. No intellectual property to protect. No proprietary genetics to license. You cannot sell fertilizer for it. Purslane thrives in nutrient-poor soil. No fertilizer dependency to exploit. You cannot sell pesticides for it. It outcompetes weeds naturally. No chemical input market. You cannot sell specialized equipment for it. A person can gather it by hand from any patch of disturbed ground. Hand gathering is enough. You cannot create seed dependency. Every plant produces 250,000 seeds. Farmers can save seed indefinitely. No hybrid vigor to lose. No terminator genes to enforce. You cannot build a profit model around a plant that does not need you. Profit models fail. And purslane bruises easily, wilts quickly, complicating long-distance supply chains. It occupies the same niche as lettuce and spinach, crops with entrenched infrastructure and corporate control. Supply chains favor what can be stored and shipped. There is no room in the industrial food system for a plant that grows without permission. So purslane had to be reclassified, not as food, as a weed, as noxious, as something to be eradicated. But despite decades of herbicide applications, despite bulletins teaching millions to destroy it, purslane survives. It grows on every continent except Antarctica. It appears in parking lot cracks, abandoned lots, the margins of industrial farms, and suburban lawns despite repeated chemical treatments. Because purslane does not need permission. It does not need modern agriculture. It never did. The only place purslane has been consistently cultivated as a mainstream vegetable is Egypt and Sudan. Farmers plant it, vendors sell it fresh, home cooks buy it like Americans buy spinach. But in the United States and most of Europe, purslane is almost entirely absent from commercial food systems. Not because people will not eat it, but because the infrastructure to profit from it does not exist. And no corporation will build that infrastructure when they cannot control the plant. The knowledge survives in the margins. In Mexico, grandmothers still braise verdolagas. In Greece, elders still toss it into summer salads. Health media now call it a superfood. Foraging communities teach workshops, and high-end chefs plate it on tasting menus. Notice what is not happening. No USDA breeding program. No large-scale food security investment. No school lunch programs. No food banks distributing it. Despite the fact that purslane thrives in degraded urban landscapes where fresh produce is scarce, and despite being more nutritious than greens shipped thousands of miles, it could be grown locally with zero inputs by people with no training. The infrastructure remains dedicated to suppression. Every person who learns that the plant they poison is the most omega-3 rich vegetable on Earth becomes harder to control. Every garden where purslane is harvested instead of sprayed is proof the industrial narrative is a choice. Crops that require annual seed purchases get research funding. Crops that need chemical inputs get subsidies. Crops that fit mechanized supply chains get infrastructure. Crops that do not fit those criteria get marginalized and erased. Purslane is not a failure of agriculture. It is an indictment of the system. For thousands of years, civilizations knew purslane sustained populations. Ancient Greeks sowed it. Romans valued it. The Aztecs ate it. They built food traditions around resilient, low-maintenance greens that thrived in marginal conditions. Those systems fed millions without depleting soil, without fossil fuels, without corporate dependency. Then industrial agriculture declared those systems primitive. Annual monocultures replaced polycultures. Purchased seeds replaced saved seeds. Chemical inputs replaced ecological knowledge. Commodified scarcity replaced abundance. That system dominated not because it produced better nutrition, but because it concentrated wealth and power. Purslane did not fit, so it was reclassified from ancient food to modern weed, from valued crop to target for poison, made invisible. But the knowledge survived. In Greek villages, in Mexican kitchens, in Chinese herbalists, in urban foragers, in permaculture gardens. They classified it as noxious because they could not commodify it. They created herbicides because they could not control it. They convinced millions to poison it because its abundance undermines their economic model. But purslane still grows, still produces more omega-3 fatty acids than any other green, still thrives in the harshest conditions, still offers the same nutrition that sustained ancient Greece, Rome, and the Aztec civilization. The only thing it does not produce is profit for Bayer, Syngenta, and Monsanto. Every weed you have been taught to poison might be food. Every crack where purslane grows is proof. Their control is not total. What other plants have been labeled weeds that should be recognized as food? Share your experience in the comments. If this changed how you see the plants around you, smash that like button and subscribe. More forgotten foods and suppressed knowledge are coming. Every share helps this knowledge spread.